see, you've got this character here. Start to fill in the detail. This is the kind of monster jumping on the school, creating havoc. You can see that using the ink kind of gives the whole thing more definition and a more finished look. And sometimes when you're doing this, you can like add more to what you've already drawn from the pencil sketch, see what works better. Of course, you can still just basically ink onto the original artwork, but this way I've always found that it kind of works much better for me. It kind of makes the whole thing a much more neater kind of finished work. There's no kind of like erasing pencil lines and making a right mess afterwards. Starting to take shape. So I'm just kind of drawing over the frame to kind of give it that extra definition. Because I can see through the paper via the light box. It's a pretty quick process to do. Most of the pens I use are these kind of pigment artist pens. It's various different makes. They're usually waterproof pigment ink. They don't fade. I also use templates to kind of do the kind of speech balloons and things like that, because they're quite a quick and easy way to make something look kind of nice and neat. So for kind of detail, there's pens of varying thicknesses. This is a 0.5 kind of millimetre one. It's good for kind of details, and it's got a nice kind of thick but kind of detailed kind of nib. I find it's quite important to, when you're drawing faces, to make sure that you're getting the kind of eye balance right, the eyebrows and things like that. even if you've got a kind of sketch or kind of like that looks pretty fine, it's good to be really careful when you're inking these things in, because sometimes you make a mistake, then it's kind of more or less permanent. So rather than kind of quickly trace things, it's kind of quite a good thing to just take your time when you're doing it. I use a combination of these kind of pigment ink pens and these kind of pen brushes, kind of for more expressive detail and larger kind of black areas. Things like hair and outlines are quite good. Adding a bit of depth to the line sometimes is quite good. But for kind of finer details like kind of eyes and faces and more straight lines, these pens are kind of ideal. And then for kind of larger areas of black, kind of filling in black areas, like these wider marker pens, they're kind of, or sometimes kind of good old-fashioned ink and brush. Another kind of handy tool for budding artists, if you're drawing hands and faces, it's always good to have a mirror nearby, and to have a mirror handy to kind of like get those expressions that you might not be able to kind of do just from the top of your head. Things like hands pointing and different shaped, different angles and things like that. It's almost essential to have a kind of mirror nearby so you can just test out what a hand looks like pointing or what a face looks like putting a certain expression.